Welp, I made a mistake. So I made the mistake of deciding to go onto YouTube and to try and find a video to respond to, because content's kinda slow and I wanted to get something out before I head off to college. And I stumbled across a video from about 2 years ago that may genuinely be one of the worst videos I've ever seen. So it's a video called Why I'll Never Play Video Games Again After Learning This, from about 2 years ago from a Cryptobro, who's probably one of the most narcissistic people I've seen on this entire platform.
First off, most woke, most successful YouTuber of all time, also a billionaire, has a great body. I don't know if you've seen me with my shirt off lately, but it's fantastic. And I'm extremely family friendly, so everybody likes me. But then there's you. You don't want to compare yourself to that.
Throughout the video, he does nothing but attack the audience for seemingly no reason, and proceeds to set up several straw man arguments throughout his video. So today, I'm gonna be breaking down this guy's arguments. All I'm gonna say is, bring a stiff drink. Like, I mean it. Bring a fucking stiff drink.
Okay, I know this video is gonna make some people take their shirts off and twist their nipples at me, because that's apparently what gamers do. There is single-handedly no hobby or side thing you can do that will probably be more damaging to you being successful than playing video games. I'm going to tell you why in this video.
Yes. The most harmful hobby of all, video games. Like, you know, there was this one time I was passing a homeless guy who was smoking some crack, and I thought to myself, you know what? At least he isn't playing video games, like me, a filthy degenerate. He has it a lot better than me, because at the least, he isn't spending his time playing Risk of Rain 2.
So just listen up, because it really messed me up for years. And while I'm not the most successful man ever, I've built multiple businesses that have done tens of millions of dollars worth of sales. Here's just one of them on one payment processor. And no, I don't have a course or anything to sell you. I generally just want you to stop this, because it's really bad.
Damn, now I feel flexed on. Also, what exactly does the business portion have to do with how gaming is supposedly bad for you? Like, it feels like there was absolutely no reason to put it in there.
And I would straight up and look you in the face and tell you that binge drinking probably has less of an impact than playing video games, to an extent.
What the fuck?
Yes, because alcohol abuse is definitely comparable to playing video games. Makes sense. Like, the only scenario where I could see gaming fucking up your life is if you're spending 12 hours on it a day, where it's consumed your entire life, where it's really the only thing you do. However, if you're a normal human being, then I think you should probably be managing your time efficiently, and thus not suffering from this issue.
So look, let's just get into it. I know what you're going to say. Alex, you play video games, and Elon Musk plays video games. First off, most woke, most successful YouTuber of all time, also a billionaire, has a great body. I don't know if you've seen me with my shirt off lately, but it's fantastic. And I'm extremely family friendly, so everybody likes me. But then there's you. You don't want to compare yourself to that.
Bruh, it's not even a minute into the video, and you're already sucking yourself off more than Bonza did. And on top of it, I don't know, attacking the audience like twice? I don't know, it's not a good look, man. Like, instead of getting your point across, you're just coming off as a massive dick for seemingly no reason. And honestly, that doesn't really help your argument.
And the next, if you're comparing yourself to Elon Musk, dude, if you had Elon Musk level skills, you'd be doing Elon Musk things, okay? If you're watching this video, you're probably not doing Elon Musk things, so shut up, okay? Because you're probably a normal person like me.
Bruh, you were literally flexing your money earlier. I don't think that's normal person things. Also, last I checked, normal people weren't sucking themselves off as much as you do, nor were they also attacking the audience as frequently as you do. So, I think you need to take your own advice here and...
Shut up.
But continuing on.
And let me explain why a normal person like me...
I think you mean abnormal.
I'm joking before, can't play video games. And as an entrepreneur who's building businesses, it's made me way less successful.
Alright, you know what, let's hear him out. I think he might, under all of this, curious behavior, might actually have a point. And I do want to have a bit of faith in the idea that, you know, he could redeem this argument and somehow redeem this.
And by the way, if you want to get into building businesses, I'm going to give you a ton of courses and stuff that I used to sell for free at the end of this video that show you to build businesses and whatnot. And no, I don't have a course or anything to sell you. I generally just want you to stop this because it's really bad.
Some fucking famous last words right there. Sorry about that. My sanity's slipping a bit right now. Anyways, let's continue.
If you can't make it in this video, you're probably suffering from one of the main things that video games causes in a person. So just sit tight, okay? I'll give you your fix.
So this is something I should have mentioned earlier alongside the whole attacking the audience thing. For whatever reason, Alex has a habit of sort of like talking down to the audience. It just comes off as really fucking snotty for no real reason, and honestly doesn't exactly help with his argument. In the end, it just makes him look like a bigger dick.
So, look, the reason why video games are going to stop you from being successful is not the games itself. Because for the longest time, I've thought to myself, hey, I can just play video games on the weekend, or I can play it 1 to 2 hours when I get done with work. No, that's not how it works. You can't play them at all.
I mean, I don't see a problem with the alternative you just offered, where, you only play it on the weekends, or you play it after work or whatever. Because at least then, you're not letting it interfere with your work or your school or whatever you're doing. And that way, you still have a functioning life outside of the console or computer or whatever you're playing on. And if you want to go cold turkey with games, that's fine too. You don't have to play video games. You're under no obligation to do so. But the argument Alex over here is about to make is kind of brain dead. It puts me to shame in regards to its brain deadness.
And by this, I mean playing video games at all. You can't even dabble because of how it affects your brain. I know it sounds excessive, but you're probably thinking, how could playing video games 30 minutes to an hour a week negatively affect my brain? It's very simple. The way your brain is set up to work is based off dopamine. Now, I can explain all the science behind it, but I will sound like an idiot.
Dr. Becker, I don't mean to interrupt or anything, but you already sound like enough of an idiot, if I'm being honest.
And I want to keep up the veil of professionalism and smartness that is on this channel, so I won't speak science in front of you. So you just continue to thinking I'm a smart guy.
That's true.
But look, here's how it works. Here's the gist of it. Dopamine is a 1, pain is a 0. The way your brain works is it operates in 1s and 0s, and it doesn't have context.
The fuck do you mean by context? Right now, it would seem like the only thing lacking context is me, because I don't understand jack shit about what you're saying.
And when your brain gets a 1, it's going to look at how hard it was to get that 1, primarily based around how much pain it took to get there. And your brain desperately wants to avoid pain, and it wants to get 1s as easily as possible. When you're playing a video game, you are able to get 1s in an insane amount. You're able to get so many dopamine hits, pow, 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 pow. What happens when your brain gets tons of dopamine hits very easily, it says, hey, everything else you're doing, that's not important. We need to sit down and figure out how to optimize the dopamine hits coming from here, because this is the #1 line. This is the #1 rail that we're getting all of our dopamine hits from. This is where we're getting our fix from. Now, I think if you're watching this video, you know that, okay, cool, I know that games are significantly more fun and addictive than doing anything that relates to success. I'm sure you've seen a person play World of Warcraft for 12, 14 hours straight, but then they can't sit down and learn something new that will improve their lives immensely, and they'll keep playing World of Warcraft even when they know it's hurting their lives and actually making their lives worse. That's because, again, your brain doesn't have context. Your brain doesn't go, hey, you know what? You played World of Warcraft for 82 hours last week. You can't pay your rent, and you look like the dad from Harry Potter. It's not going to do that. It's going to say, hey, keep doing this thing because it's giving you those 1s.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I think I keep pretty good track of how long I play games for. And I think any sensible human being does, if I'm being honest. So I think it's only really you who doesn't keep track of how long you're playing a game for. Me personally, the longest I spend playing video games in general per day is probably 6 hours. But after that, I'm fucking done. You won't catch me on the game past that time.
But here's where it really starts to mess you up besides just messing up other parts of your life. How your brain works is it's always going to be trying to figure out problems that it believes are going to give it dopamine releases. And it's going to sit there and work on those problems when you're in the shower. It's going to sit there and work on those problems when you're going to bed. It's going to work on those problems when you're not even thinking about your problems in your subconscious. Have you ever done something for a hard time, worked really, really hard on it, then you stopped for 2 days, and then you had a brilliant, more creative strategy just come to you naturally? Your brain is always working and gnawing on the problems you present to it.
My brother in Christ, you do realize that's just how our brains work in general, right? Like, that's not exclusive to just thinking about video games. That's happened to me whenever I'm thinking about stuff in regards to college. That's happened to me whenever I thought about stuff in regards to my job. So, way to bring up one of the biggest non-issues, Alex.
So if you're playing video games, your brain doesn't have context, so it doesn't realize you're sitting in front of a computer screen playing World of Warcraft. It says, the thing you're doing right here, this is the most satisfying thing you could ever do in your life. This is the best place we can get ones, so we're going to optimize for this.
Honestly, with that description right there, he makes video games seem more like a drug addiction than, well, video games. He makes it sound as though we're just jumping from game to game without anything else to do with our lives. Also, he throws around that statement again. Your brain doesn't have context, and seems to imply that, people have no idea that they're playing on a PC. Like, he makes it sound as though, someone's brain isn't aware that it's playing a video game.
How can we optimize to be better at this and maximize ones? And so what it's going to do, if you've ever played World of Warcraft, if you've ever played any video game you're addicted to, you know that when you put the controller down, you're still thinking about it for about 2 to 3 hours. And then throughout the week, if you're at work, it's still thinking about in the back of your head. When you're in the shower, you're thinking about, how can I get that next epic item in Molten Core? I can tell you this. I tried to play WoW Classic. I'm sitting around constantly in the shower thinking about how to get my Warlock shoulders for Molten Core to increase my base stats by like 24 points. It doesn't even make my points go up and down, but the dopamine release is huge.
Now, it sounds like this whole idea of thinking of a game hours after you've gotten off sounds more like something that everyone does. And it's not even limited to just video games, it's limited to any hobby you have. For example, I've recently gotten into miniature painting for Warhammer 40k, and though it's a really simple hobby and definitely not video game related, I still think about it for hours on end when I'm not painting. Because that's just how hobbies are. They're addicting. They're nice to think about because they provide a good distraction from our lives. And also because it just gives us joy in general. Also, since you're a businessman, though personally I wouldn't go investing all of my finances in crypto, let's talk in terms of business, shall we? Let's say that we were running a business. Wouldn't that be on your mind constantly if you enjoyed running it?
You see how disturbing that is? Because first off, my brain is completely focused on problem solving around a problem that will bring nothing to my life. Again, your brain does not have context. And if all I'm doing is playing video games, obviously it's pretty clear why this is bad, because video games don't pay the bills. I mean to say I'm not... and they make you a socially awkward little weirdo, okay? I'm sure you guys can all relate. I've talked to a girl before too. It's freaking terrifying.
Why do I get the feeling that Alex tries to pick up girls by showing them his finances, and then gets rejected and proceeds to say, why don't girls like nice guys? Also, considering the way you act, Alex, I'm sure you know all about being socially awkward, especially considering that you seem to have no self-awareness whatsoever and come off as an insensitive prick most of the time. And now, let me actually interject with a bit of a personal note in regards to social awkwardness in video games. So, I'm a pretty shy individual, so it takes me a lot to socialize sometimes. And ironically, video games actually helped me sort of get out of my shell a bit. Because of my interactions with people on there, I've been able to meet some of my best friends from college and whatnot. And I've also managed to make some good friends through YouTube. And honestly, I couldn't be more thankful for video games for helping me to get out of my shell a bit. But sure, it makes you a socially awkward little weirdo.
But look, here's the thing. The reason why this doesn't work if you want to be successful is because in order to be successful, you need to be thinking on all cylinders. For example, if Kobe Bryant was trying to be the world's best basketball player and he's trying to go in the NBA, and he's going against competitors that are thinking 100% of the time how to be better at basketball. 100% of the time. And he's thinking, let's say, 70% of the time. Other 30% of the time, he's thinking about how to seduce Garrus in Mass Effect. Okay, that's something a lot of NBA players try to do. But say Kobe's thinking about it. He's not going to be the best because default, he's not going to be thinking about the game as much. He's not going to be as good as the game. Because he's finding creative ways to move forward. See, the way you really have success at something is you're going to hit these breaking points. You're going to hit these hard points that take a lot of creative thought, and the solutions don't come to you unless you're obsessive about it.
Now, while it's true that if you focus all your energy on a problem, you can solve it faster, it also kind of shows that you just have a one-track mind. It definitely isn't a good mindset to have, Because when you have a one-track mind, it causes you to focus on only one problem, instead of solving multiple problems at a time.
And if you're obsessing with something else, which is a video game, which your brain will obsess over because it's a much better source of ones. It's way more exciting than coming to work and working on your business. Dopamine-wise. Life fulfillment-wise, life satisfaction-wise, it's not. And you can get the same amount of high from working on your business, but you can't when there is a thing you can do in your life that gives you way more ones way more easily. See, dopamine doesn't have context. Just because it feels good and gives you a lot of dopamine doesn't mean it's something that you actually will enjoy and will make your life happier. It's not. It's a very poor indicator of what's going to make you happy. But when you're getting ones from something, you're going to focus on it. You're going to think about it. Thus, you're not thinking about something else. Thus, you're not hitting that level of creativity you need to get to that top level.
If I'm being perfectly honest, I don't think video games has ever stopped me from doing jack shit. Like I might have said earlier, it's a hobby, but I refuse to let it take control of my life entirely. Because I have important stuff to do, like school, like work, etc. And in the grand order of things, playing video games is really low on the priority list. Also, what the fuck do you keep saying by your brain doesn't have context or dopamine doesn't have context? Like, I'm pretty certain your brain would be intelligent enough to know what provides enough dopamine to someone's brain. For me, it would be doing stuff such as painting miniatures or playing video games. Or hell, if I'm in a really good mood, doing fucking mathematics.
If you've ever succeeded in anything in your life, you probably know it's because you sat around thinking about it non-stop. Whenever I was actually learning how to code and alter video games when I was younger, I would sit around and obsess over that constantly. And I would just think about it, and because I was able to do all sorts of crazy things in the games. Whenever I was first thinking about and building my first business, it was all I thought about all day long. So I found all these creative ways that break through these things in my business that really no one had talked about. No one taught me how to do it, and no one had helped me discover it. I just sat there and obsessed over it. Just like when you've probably played a video game in the past and you've ran into a problem and you just poked around even until you found a glitch in the game to get around it.
Breaking news! Alex Becker just found out that humans have problem-solving abilities that extend to things outside of just business. Wow, who could have guessed? Let's get a fucking round of applause for super shit over here.
That's what you have to do in real life. And so, when you're playing video games, even part-time, it hijacks that part of your brain that allows you to get to that point where you're going to get those maximum returns. You're going to be instead sitting around thinking about how to win at Super Smash Bros. You're going to be sitting around thinking about how to train your Pokemon to the highest level. And the problems in games are often very complex. Have you seen the complexity of competitive Pokemon?
Wait, I'm sorry. Competitive fucking Pokemon? How the fuck does competitive Pokemon even work? What the oh my god. Jesus Christ. I swear, doing this video was a mistake. Doing this fucking video was a mistake. You know, I was on call with Brother Nier and Psychonaut Therapy. We were all just looking at this shit. And oh my god. Why did I ever think to make a video on this? At this point, I should just fucking quit YouTube. Oh my god. I could do anything else with my time, and I choose to do this shit. But let's respond to his actual point outside of competitive Pokemon. So, in the clip I was playing earlier, he claims that video games will often hijack your brain to make you only think about video games, and then continuously just search for things to do in regards to video games and nothing else. This just isn't true whatsoever, and makes it sound as though someone who plays video games can't think of other stuff at the same time.
It's mind-blowing. It's insane. And so your brain is going to gnaw on these problems. It's going to be like a bone it can't stop chewing on, and that bone is so thick you're going to be chewing on it for months and months and months, and then when you chew through that bone, you have nothing. I'm sure you've probably beaten a video game that you invested months into, and then it gives you nothing. I remember when I beat Breath of the Wild, I was riding around in the motorcycle at the end after, I don't know, like 150 hours, 200 hours invested. And I'm like, this is it. And I turned off my Switch and had nothing to show for it.
I mean, I don't know what you expected, bro. Did you expect it to change your life because you finished Breath of the Wild? My brother in Christ, it is a video game. It is a hobby. It is something you do for recreation. It is not something that will absolutely change your life. Unless your entire life has been nothing but video games. Like, I don't know what you were expecting IRL from it. You aren't gonna get a new house because of video games. You aren't gonna get $1 million because you played video games. The most you're gonna get is some dopamine and maybe an urge to play the game again. But that is literally it. Lower your fucking expectations, because it's not gonna lead you anywhere. Now, I have a few counterpoints in regards to what he's about to say.
And so that's why you can't play video games. It hijacks your subconscious. It hijacks your thinking. If you're going out and partying all the time, at least during the week, you're only thinking about business. You're not going to be thinking about partying 24/7.
Counterpoint, if you're partying 24/7, then that's going to really get in the way of your life. Honestly, if you do anything 24/7, chances are that's definitely going to hijack your life. Whereas, if you party in moderation, you can still think about other things.
If you like to eat cake all the time, you'll eat cake and then you're done with it.
Counterpoint, diabetes.
If you like watching tons of TV, at least when you turn the TV off, you're probably not sitting around thinking about Family Guy 24/7. Video games is one of the few things you can ever do that will be more engaging than anything you can do in life and simulates accomplishment, simulates growth in a way that gives your brain massive ones and your brain can't see the context and it makes you think about it all the time. Because you think about it all the time, you can't think about and do and operate the level you need to be successful all the time.
I mean, if I'm being honest, all that this video has shown me is that you have a kind of addictive personality, and it seems like you're just projecting your own experience with video games onto other people, and you end up making a lot of disingenuous assumptions and assertions. And a lot of the time throughout the video, you just come off as a self-obsessed prick, thus making no one really want to listen to your kinda deluded point. But that's the ending of his video. One thing I find really poetic about it all is the fact that he says video games are bad for you, but has this as his outro. But I guess the moral of this video is, if you have a hobby, do it in moderation. Don't listen to Mr. Becker's advice. It's absolutely okay to have a hobby. The way he's describing it makes it sound like hobbies are like drug abuse. Working hard and playing hard can absolutely coexist. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Just don't let either of those things take over your life. It will not end well. But yeah, that's all for this video. I think I'm gonna go lie down. The amount of brain damage I just... You get the idea. I'm going. Bye. But seriously, I hope you all enjoyed. I'm gonna go work on another video now. Bye.